Welcome to This Explainer, the great dream mystery, neuroscience, theories, and the unknown. Okay, let's dive right in. For as long as humans have slept, we've dreamt. It's one of our oldest, most universal biological phenomena, and yet it remains one of the most fiercely debated puzzles in all of modern science. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating unsolved mystery of exactly why we dream. We're going to look at the neuroscience, the leading scientific theories, and the profound unknowns of the sleeping brain.
To really grasp just how powerful dreams can be, consider this. One night, Albert Einstein had a bizarre dream. He dreamt he was walking through a farm and saw a herd of cows leaning against an electric fence. When the farmer switched that fence on, the cows suddenly jumped back, all at the same time. But to the farmer standing far away, the cows appeared to jump one after another, like a wave. Einstein woke up, and from that strange, highly specific imagery, the theory of relativity was born.
Which brings us to our central question. So, why do we dream at all? Think of this explainer as a locked room detective mystery. Thanks to modern technology like EEG machines, we actually know what happens in the brain when we sleep. We've mapped the scene of the crime. But the why? Well, that's where the mystery deepens, and where science is still fiercely debating the ultimate motive.
Section 1. Inside the dreaming brain. Let's step right into the scene of the crime and look at the biological reality of what happens when you fall asleep.
As we descend into sleep, our brainwaves shift dramatically. When you're awake and engaged, your brain is firing off beta and gamma waves. But as you start falling asleep, those drop off, and your brain produces alpha waves. This is when your mind wanders, kind of like when you daydream or listen to the rain. Finally, we hit the theta waves. This is the dream state. During this stage, the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for logic and keeping impulses in check, slowly grows less active. It basically shuts down completely, leaving us with an unconstrained window of consciousness. And because that logical prefrontal cortex is taking a nap, we experience some highly bizarre traits. Dreams are usually strictly first person and entirely involuntary. They can be incredibly illogical and provoke intense emotions. Because there's zero mental censorship happening, you might find yourself experiencing completely absurd scenarios, like, dancing at a New Year's party while it rains roses, and your brain just accepts it as reality in the moment. These traits build the foundation for two very different sleep states. On average, you dream for about 2 hours a night, mostly during rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. During REM, brain activity ramps up massively, creating vivid, fantastical, and highly bizarre dreams. Compare that to non-REM sleep, where dreams are less frequent, much more coherent, logical, and grounded in a specific time and place. It's really during REM sleep that the most intense magic, or madness, happens.
Section 2. The Prime Suspects. We know the mechanics, so let's introduce the core scientific theories as the top suspects in this biological mystery.
Suspect number 1 is memory consolidation. Your brain is continuously recording information every single second you're awake. It takes in a massive amount of data, but it literally needs a break to actually make sense of it all. This theory suggests that dreaming serves an essential cognitive function. It's the process of stabilizing, strengthening, and moving those short-term daytime experiences into long-term storage. A really brilliant way to illustrate how memory consolidation works in practice is the filing system theory. As your brain processes memories, it reorganizes them, pulling together things that are seemingly related. Imagine you're at a store and you smell a rose-scented candle that reminds you of your sister. That night, your brain links those files together, which might result in a bizarre dream where your sister is handing you roses. It's just your biological filing system at work, making associations to store information efficiently.
But what if the brain isn't saving files but deleting them? Enter suspect number 2, the unlearning mechanism. Proposed by scientists Francis Crick and Graham Mitchison, this theory treats the human brain a lot like a complex computer network. Just like computers, our neural networks can develop unwanted, overlapping patterns of activity that degrade the system. Crick and Mitchison called these parasitic modes of activity.
You can really think of this as the nighttime cleaning crew. According to this theory, dreaming is the active process of erasing these erroneous, parasitic connections by randomly activating cortical connections. If we didn't have this nighttime cleaning crew to wipe away the junk data, the theory suggests we might actually become overwhelmed by obsessive thoughts or paranoia. So dreaming here is literal mental housekeeping.
Our third suspect takes us away from raw data and into matters of the heart and survival, emotional processing.
Some researchers, like Michel Jouvet, propose that dreaming allows us to reinforce or rehearse behaviors we don't commonly encounter safely during the day, like aggression or facing fearful situations. It's a way for the brain to engage with and rehearse intense feelings in different imagined contexts.
Under this suspect's profile, the brain is acting as an emotional therapist. Dreams provide a highly therapeutic, absolutely safe space to process heavy daytime stressors. You can face your worst fears, process deep sadness, or manage severe anxiety entirely shielded from the actual real-world consequences of your waking life.
Section 3. The Great Debate. We have our prime suspects, but the plot thickens with opposing theories among top sleep experts. The scientific community is sharply divided by a crucial contradiction here: memory building versus mental housekeeping. Are dreams the process of the brain carefully saving critical files to build our long-term memory? Or are dreams the complete opposite, the biological equivalent of dragging junk files into the trash bin to clear up hard drive space? Experts have compelling evidence for both, making them totally opposed yet equally plausible. To add fuel to the debate, just look at this incredible data on dream emotions. A massive 65% of dreams are associated with sadness, apprehension, or anger. Only 20% relate to happiness or excitement, and surprisingly, only 1% involve sexual feelings. The sheer volume of negative emotions heavily supports the emotional therapist theory. I mean, why else would we voluntarily simulate so much stress, if not to practice surviving it?
And, we have to acknowledge that there are other completely different theories out there as well. Some researchers argue dreams are just a distorted instant replay of recent events. Others take a much more clinical view. They suggest dreaming might just be an incidental biological byproduct of REM sleep. In this view, the flashing images mean absolutely nothing. They're literally just sparks flying off the engine of a sleeping brain, completely devoid of any deeper purpose.
Section 4. An enduring, fascinating mystery. Which brings us to an unsolved puzzle. Despite all of our brain mapping and psychological profiling, science still cannot conclusively prove any of these theories to be the one true answer.
And if you want to know just how baffling this gets, consider this. Studies show that patients taking certain medications like MAO inhibitors or individuals selectively deprived of REM sleep for weeks show virtually no obvious ill effects. They survive just fine without their vivid REM dreams. Now, total sleep deprivation is deadly, meaning we absolutely need non-REM sleep to survive. But REM sleep, the stage where our most vivid dreams happen, we can apparently get along without it, which makes the evolutionary purpose of dreaming even more incredibly perplexing.
So here's what we know. The brain shuts down its logic center. It fires off bizarre emotional narratives. But whether you're birthing the theory of relativity, throwing out mental junk data, or just watching random sparks fly off the biological engine, well, that remains a secret locked inside your own skull. So I'll leave you with this to ponder as you head to bed. What is your brain trying to file away or clean out tonight? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and sweet dreams.